hey, congratulations on being part of the Discovery Channel's Shark Week series.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here.
You know what? I'm a bit jealous because you get to go on a lot of adventures, and I do have to admit, I will never go on these adventures. So,
Mate, I've been doing it for over a decade now, and it just keeps getting better and better. I love the fact that it's such a nice transfer from military service whereby I still get to travel, I still get adventures, I still get to hang out with my mates, I still get to do crazy, dangerous stuff, but then I also get to share it with millions of people across the world, and it has a special purpose as well, trying to protect and teach people about sharks.
well, let's ask this, very basic question because, I watched a few of the episodes that you are actually in, so I want to know what started your fascination with sharks, and I'm really hoping it wasn't because of that incident.
No, I grew up drawing, and the things I loved drawing the most were dinosaurs and sharks. I always had a fascination with sharks, but that's when you're young and you're fearless and you think nothing can hurt you. And as you age, the media tells you got to be afraid of these animals and they attack people. And so I had this fear develop. And then in the military, after being an airborne soldier, I became a Navy bomb disposal diver. And so I was in the water a lot. And I'm in water that's super murky. You can't see your hand in front of your face and your imagination runs wild. And so I was afraid of sharks, but I had a job to do. So I focused on the mission. And then you turn up to work one day and a bull shark eats you and all of your nightmares come to reality. And so that was a pretty tough day at work. I'm not going to lie, pretty tough 6 months, but I recovered really well, went back to full-time military service. And it wasn't that I was a fan of sharks at that point. I just didn't blame the shark. It's just shark in its home doing sharky stuff. And I chose a very dangerous life. So you can't choose to do dangerous things and then get upset when something goes wrong. So I just didn't hold anything against the sharks. And then I was slowly exposed to them. And there's this saying, knowledge dispels fear. Whenever there was a shark incident in Australia, the media would come to me for a comment because they knew about my situation. And so I thought, you know what, I better start learning about this animal so I can give an educated opinion instead of just an opinion. I didn't want to be a dummy on television saying things that were untrue. And so I learned about this animal. And I started not to be afraid of them. I started becoming enamored with them. And then along comes Discovery Channel and Shark Week and offers me an opportunity to co-host a job with Andy Casagrande and meet great white sharks. After that, I was hooked, man.
I'm really fascinated of your story because, like a lot of soldiers, when they go to war, they have PTSD. You lost an arm and a leg to shark. I mean, how do you overcome all that? And today you're like still embracing the menace of the seas.
I don't really look at that situation as an anchor that I need to hold on to. Sure, it was a really bad day. It was probably the worst day of my life, but I've had bad days in the past. I don't hold on to them either. I don't think that we need to get latched onto these bad situations and bad memories that we have had. We're not victims to them. We're survivors of them. That should teach us that we're actually stronger than what those situations were because we lived, we survived, we should be proud of ourselves. And then you go and find some sort of purpose in your life, and there's no reason to hold on to that and have that PTSD. Sure, it might not work for everyone, but that's what worked for me.
Now, in all these episodes, you come with very close encounters with these sharks again. Especially, I love the episode of how to survive a shark attack. Why would you put yourself so close to, into the jaws of death again? I mean, I don't know. I'm not even there, and I thought like I need to pee in my pants.
Yeah, that's an edge of your seat kind of show. And initially, I was wondering the same thing. Why would Discovery Channel ask me to do that show? And then I thought about it, and you know what? I'm glad I got to do it because it's near and dear to my heart. And I know how painful and how horrifying that situation is. And so I would like to help other people either not have to be in that situation, or if they are, how to survive, or help someone else survive that's going through that situation. And look, let's face it, the chance of that happening is so remotely rare. You've got more chance of dying in a car accident on the way to the beach than you do of getting killed by a shark at the beach. And yet we don't stay out of our cars, we don't get off the road, but we get cars that have airbags. We have great brakes, we have crumple zones. We try and make it as safe as possible. And so that's up to each of us to do as well when we enter the ocean. Make it as safe as possible. We got the wealth of the world's knowledge in a few keystrokes. Let's use the Google, find out if there's been any sharks there. Let's keep each other safe.
It is amazing watching your episodes, and you dispelled that myth that you never punch the nose of a shark. I thought that's the same thing like getting attacked by a bear in the forest. How about playing dead? Does that actually work in the middle of the ocean, or that's still a no-no?
No, you don't want to play dead, but you don't want to thrash around either at the same time. You want to show the sharks that you're a big bad predator, just like them. So you don't back away. You just maintain eye contact because, funnily enough, they know when you're watching them. We've done these experiments. Tiger sharks will actively sneak up on you from behind. But as soon as you turn around and look at them, they're almost embarrassed and they'll think, oh, no, I wasn't going to do anything. And then they swim off that way. And so they're not mindless beings. They're quite intelligent. And so we need to be intelligent as well when we're working with them.
So what is the most common misconception about sharks for the common man, what we actually know?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many that people think that sharks are lurking off the coast, waiting to eat your children, and rogue sharks that have learnt that human blood tastes good. That's all fake. I've done the experiments. I've popped bags of my own blood surrounded by large predatory sharks, and they did nothing. But you throw a bucket of fish blood in the water and they go crazy for that stuff. And so they're just a very important animal that keeps the ocean healthy. It's what's known as a keystone species, which is kind of like if you're playing a game of Jenga. If you remove too many of those blocks from the bottom, the whole system comes tumbling down. And that's what happens if you kill too many sharks in an ecosystem. The ecosystem collapses and then you destroy a part of that ocean. So they're vitally important, not just for the health of the ocean, but for the health of humanity.
And it's also been 50 years since the original Jaws movie that came out that terrified all of us. So are we saying that Jaws, something like Jaws, it's more fictional than reality, right?
Oh, mate, I don't worry about Jaws, the movie. I worry about people that can't separate reality from fiction. We live in a very different world now than we did in 1975 when that came out. We've got the wealth of the world's knowledge in a few keystrokes, like I said. We don't have to believe that these movies are what sharks are really like. I love those movies. I think they're great. They're just like any other thriller or horror movie. It's fake. It's not reality. And so let's not put that mark on the sharks. They're not the bad guys. They're the good guys.
Well said. And let me wrap it up with one last question is, what do you think is the audience fascination of sharks?
I think it's because it's so rare to actually get the opportunity to see a shark in real life. Most people will never have that opportunity. And so once a year along comes Shark Week, and not only do you get to see the sharks, you get to see them in all their glory, doing leaps out of the ocean with these 20-foot great white sharks, or people swimming with them, learning science. Like it's just such a complete package that people get to experience every single day.
Yes, Paul. And you know what? And you get to do continue to do these adventures. Thank you very much for speaking to us about Discovery Shark Week.
Cheers, Gig.